here because you were there.
I just find it funny how when things start to happen in America and to Americans, all of a sudden it's a sign of the times. All of a sudden, oh, this is prophecy. This is revelations. Everybody needs to repent. Jesus is coming back soon. But listen to me. Hear me out. If you actually go look at the statistics on the matters, you will find that we're living in the best time in history. We're living in the easiest time to be alive in history. So I just find it funny. Was it a sign of the times when it was happening to Japan? Was it a sign of the times where things were happening to the USSR? Was it a sign of the time when things were happening to Ghana? What about Haiti? What about South American countries? What about all of the countries that America has invaded so they can reach the pinnacle of their powers? Was it a sign of the times when y'all were doing all of that? Okay, no. It was only a sign of the times. It was only prophecy when you started to suffer. When your children start to get on meth and crack and fentanyl. It's only a sign of the time when it hits America. It's only a sign of the times when it hits your kids, when your kids aren't going to be able to afford houses and aren't going to be able to buy and purchase and sell. Because things aren't adding up. We aren't being consistent. The math isn't mathing. We live in the best time in history. But let the people on one side of the poll tell it, oh no, making things fair, creating equity is a sign of the times. Because world hunger is at an all-time low. Illiteracy is at an all-time low. The birth rate, like in terms of, is at an all-time low. In other words, women have their children without a whole lot of complications more than any other time period. The life expectancy is at an all-time high. All-time high. In other words, you're going to live longer than any of your ancestors in history. Modern medicine is better than it's ever been. But when things start to happen to America, oh no, it's time to repent. Once it starts to hit close to your house, the stuff that's been happening around the world for hundreds of years, thousands of years on a much higher scale, by the way, when it happens to you, you can't handle it, and it's Armageddon. We in Revelations. Hold up. But something isn't consistent because we're in the best time ever to be alive. But I just think it's very, very interesting. It's very, very interesting for the Christian mind. You talking about it's the end of the world. Every event, Microsoft update happens. Repent. Donald Trump gets shot. Repent. A hurricane happens and turns off all of the lights. Repent. The boy who cried wolf. It's the Antichrist. Oh my God. Everybody repent. Jesus is coming. Jesus is coming. During the best time there is to be alive. The best living time in history. The best time to live. Jesus is coming because now you're experiencing some pain. Jesus ain't coming. Just because you're experiencing how it feels to be like the rest of the world, Jesus is on his way. That tells you something. That's telling you something about these people. Just seeing individuals, misery loves company. Misery loves company. Just seeing other people exist is an indication that we're in the last days. Just seeing other leaders rise up, people make money and pass it down to their children other than Americans, is an indication that's a sign of the Antichrist. That's a sign of the mark of the beast. All that stuff that y'all claim that we don't know about and that we're deceived about and that we need to repent to. We know about it. We know what you're talking about. You people are delusional. You know, and I'm going to get mine, and I bet that mega church gets theirs. As that mega church and y'all get ready for some fake-ass Armageddon, that mega church continues to collect just in case. Just in case. Okay? That televangelist that you love so much, guess what? As he fearmongers to the world and writes books on how to prep and spend all of your money on prepping, hey, he collects just in case, and he makes sure he gets that new jet, and he makes sure he gets that new house, and he makes sure he gets that 2025 brand new Tesla truck. I bet you he do, just in case things don't happen the way the prophets predict. Key word, predict. It's supposed to be a prophecy, which means that you aren't supposed to get it wrong. But hey, that's neither here nor there. Since we're in the easiest period to be alive in human history, I just want to see something real quick. Exactly when did it start becoming a sign of the time? Let's go through the timeline. Was it a sign of the times during Desert Storm? Was it a sign of the times then? Was it a sign of the times during the 90s when the Hutus and the Tutsis were killing each other? It was millions they were killing? I guess not. Was it a sign of the time during Reaganomics? 1980s? Was it a sign of the time then? Well, millions of people were getting hooked on drugs, millions of lives ruined, even all the way up to today. The next generation is ruined because of that. Was it a sign of the times then? Nah? Okay, maybe not. Was it a sign of the times when you had the USSR and communism? Really, truly? Was it a sign of the times then? Did we need to repent? Was it revelations then, during that period? Nah, I guess not. Okay, let's go back a little bit further. Was it a sign of the time during the 1970s when presidents like Jimmy Carter were lying directly to your faces? Was it a sign of the time then? What about when they were using the FBI and the CIA to infiltrate groups and countries and cause chaos and destabilization? Was it a sign of the times then? Nah, it wasn't. When millions of people were being killed from American-led coups, was it a sign of the time then? No, it wasn't. Okay, let's see when exactly it started to be a sign of the time. Was it a sign of the time during the Civil Rights Movement? Nah, of course not. Those black people, they wanted to be segregated. Was it a sign of the times during Fukushima when millions of people were displaced? Hold up, let's find out exactly when it started to be a sign of the time. When did it start to be a sign of the times? When did you need to repent because there was going to be a rapture? Since it's a sign of the times now, since Microsoft's program had a bug in it and Donald Trump got shot while you live comfortably in AC and lights and everything. You can say whatever you want to say behind a computer screen and nothing happens to you. Okay. Was it a sign of the times during World War II? What about World War II? Hell, what about Vietnam? I'm going too far. My bad, y'all. What about Vietnam? Was it a sign of the time during Vietnam where millions of people were killed? The American military had their tail between their legs and had to come home with an L. Was it a sign of the times then? Don't let me bring up the dreaded slavery. Was it a sign of the time during slavery? Of course it wasn't. Those niggers wanted to be slaves. Okay, what about the Indians? When you killed 20 million Indians, was it a sign of the times then? 20 million Indians, was it a sign of the time when you times when you killed all of those Native Americans? No. It wasn't a sign of the time then. They were nature worshipers. They got what they deserved. Was it a sign during the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages? Christian persecution, when Christians actually were being persecuted for real. Was it a sign of the time then? Uh-oh, this is right up your alley. Was it not a sign of the times then? You had actual Christian persecutions. Was it a sign of the times? No. It's a sign of the times now when you're claiming to be persecuted, you're crying wolf, and nothing's actually happening to you. But when people are actually going through persecutions in other countries right now, real persecutions, and in history, that wasn't a sign of the times. What about the witch trials? Sign of the times then, you actually had witches and what you thought were witches. Was it a sign of the time then? No. What about the Roman Empire? What about the collapse of the Roman Empire? Was it a sign of the times then? I would think so, based on biblical narrative. I would think that the Roman collapse would mark the sign of the times. Wasn't that? You don't really have too much of a connection with the old Roman Empire. It couldn't have been a sign of the time then. Let's go biblical. Was it a sign of the time during the Babylonian captivity? The Assyrian captivity, all that stuff that happened to your lovely Israelites? No. Well, was it a sign of the times when Jesus died? That wasn't the sign? That wasn't telling you something? No. It's a sign of the times in 2024 when life expectancy is higher than it's ever been. World hunger is at an all-time low. They're trying to make it a human right for everybody to access Wi-Fi. We waste food now. All of a sudden, not all of a sudden, because this is the same fear mongering that they've been doing for years. So I can't even say all of a sudden. I just think it's funny now. Like if you go look at a chart and you see all of the things that I've mentioned that have improved and gotten better, that's an indication that, hello, it's not a sign of the times. It's just a sign of the times for you, because you don't like the direction that the world and the nation is going in. But it was okay when all of those traumatic things were happening to everybody else. Oh, America was great. All those times that all that I mentioned was during, most of those things that I mentioned were during the American Empire. And America, you had, it was divine. It was manifest destiny. This was God's will. America is blessed by God while somebody's starving because of you and another, you killing and destabilizing and cutting off trade routes of other nations affecting millions. It wasn't a sign of the times then, during the peak of American powers. Oh no. You see how the propaganda works? You see how it works? It's a sign of the time now that they're experiencing some discomfort. And they got a whole bunch of people who are Christian nationalists on this bandwagon, dumb as hell, while the corporate and Republican politicians just laugh at their stupid asses because they're just utilizing them. They're using you. They're using your beliefs. They're using your Christian belief system so they can, in turn, gain support. They can gain support because they're promising you to go back to some Christian identity when we're never going to go back because the world is better now than it's ever been. Okay, that's all I got.
Yeah, because you were there.
Open your eyes before you